Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of The Gunman. So today we've got another video on my old Torana. I thought we'd just revisit this project now that the car is finished. Yeah, I thought revisit it and give you guys another video on it. So basically I actually have already uploaded this video here, but with music in the background. So I thought, hey, why not add a bit of an ending, because it is further along now. Like it actually is finished now. But I thought, hey, why not just do a bit of a voiceover and just sort of shoot the breeze and just say whatever comes to my mind when I'm watching this footage, because that's all I do. I actually don't do scripted or anything, but either way, let's get into it. So the car here, I've owned it since about, say, 2003, and it was never what you would call like a good specimen. Like it was never worth a lot of money. I bought this car for $800, and I always did want to get it registered, but there was always just so many things wrong with it, you know, like you name it, it had loads and loads of problems. So it really did need a lot of work done to it to get it back on the road. But now it is back on the road, and that is awesome. But another thing that happened is, well, I had to leave the car for about 10 years. So I'm from here in Victoria, that's where I'm from, Melbourne, and I moved over to Perth for the best part of 10 years, so I had to put it somewhere, and my dad's got a block of land. He lives up in the country in central Victoria, so I just said, hey, Dad, can I just whack this car on your property? He's like, yeah, no worries. So it did obviously get a little bit more rust, well, a fair bit more rust. Like those taillight buckets were nowhere near that. Like there was barely even a bubble of rust around those taillight buckets, but as you could see at the start, it was totally toasted. So just patches here, there, and everywhere that I had. So let's have a quick talk about the way that I did this. So the way I see it is, as long as the metal is solid and clean and treated properly, it doesn't matter if you have to put a little bit extra filler in here and there. And I know that through my own experience. As long as you've got some solid metal underneath, like you could probably see that sill panel, there was some like waves and ripples in it, but it really doesn't matter, guys. You know, a lot of these panel beaters, they go and take their job a little bit too seriously. I think the guys in the resto industry, and I've been exposed to a little bit of it, mainly when I was doing this. Like I really don't follow the restoration scene that closely. But like any sort of industry, there can be a little bit of elitism creep in at the top end. And just because so what happens is some people might go and watch a high-end restoration shop and see the way they do it and think that's the only way that it should or can be done. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, it's not the only way that it can or should be done. This door here, it was toasted, mate. Like, it was in a really... I put the size of those patches down the bottom. They were ginormous. And you know what? It's fine. It is totally fine to do this kind of stuff. As long as you're putting a good amount of steel back in there, you're cutting out all of the rusted spots, there's no reason this shouldn't last 20 plus years. So one thing that I'm not, and I never have been, is a perfectionist. I think it's just a fool's errand, so to speak. Some of the stuff that I've seen some people do, it's just way beyond the pale, and it's like, hey, look, if that's what you want to do to your car, or, you know, if that's what somebody wants to pay you to do to their car, all power to you, mate. But I'm not going to those lengths on a rusty old bucket of shit like this. Sorry, tell it how it is. At the end of the day, it's just an SL Torana. That's the way I see it. Yes, I'm investing. Well, I don't even know if you could call it investing. Yes, I'm spending a lot of money on this car. But yeah, I guess my point is, like, there's people out there who will basically like metal finish their door jambs. They'll be sanding their door jambs back flat, cutting them back flat, and then spending hours buffing them. That is a level of perfection that I've got no interest in. Like, I really actually have zero interest in doing it on my car or your car. There's a good reason I'm not in the restoration industry. It just absolutely bores the living shit out of me working on the one car day in, day out, day in, day out. Like, I don't mind doing it on the odd occasion. Like, as you can see here on my own car, it was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was really motivated. And it was good as much as anything. This is something different for me because I don't always do the restoration and getting panels ultra straight with polyester spray fillers and stuff like that. But to chasing perfection, it's just, like I say, I think it's a fool's errand. And it's an industry that I've got no real interest in working in, doing restoration work, like I say, on the daily. I mean, I can kind of understand the thought process of, hey, if you're going to go to all this effort and spend all this money, you may as well just do it properly. But I guess what I'm talking about is going to that extra mile that some of these people go. Like this car, like I say, it's a bit of a old piece of shit, you know. Like these cars were a dime a dozen back in the day. They weren't that special. This thing had been beaten left, right, and center. There was just dents the entire way over the car. So my point is, there's people out there that would spend, you know, tens of thousands of dollars and weeks and weeks and weeks worth of labor shrinking and tapping and panel beating the panels. And at the end of the day, it's not going to look any different than what mine came up when I just filled it up. You know what I mean? So if anything, the way I see it is you're losing strength in the body of the car if you spend too much time tapping it. And you I guess, yeah, like there's people that, you know, they know a lot more about that side, you know, the metal work than I do. But as far as I'm concerned, mate, just make what's underneath there solid, and just bog it up, baby. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sometimes you just got to use a bit more body filler than you would like. Yes, ideally, I'd like if there was no body filler in it. That'd be awesome. But yeah, at the end of the day, you've just got to decide which way you want to go about it on your own car. But yeah, there you go. So I started off by doing panel by panel. That's the way that I did this car. I did not use sandblasting at all. Now, hindsight, I probably would have got myself a little sandblaster and maybe used it just on the pitted rust sections where you can't quite get some of the wire wheels and grinders into. So, and then just do those spots. So that's in hindsight. But apart from that, there's not a great deal of things that I would have changed on this project. I'm really happy with how it came up, and the way that I did it was panel by panel. So I mechanically stripped all the paint with grinders and orbital sanders and stuff like that, and then I was able to get them in primer panel by panel, move on, do the filler work panel by panel. And another awesome thing about that is that because you're doing it bit by bit, you learn things, and you can sort of refine and hone your procedure. Like I say, I don't do this kind of thing all day in, day out. I'm more doing, I do the paint work all day, but I don't do the body work, and even little things like the primers. You know, you might think that you know everything about your procedure, but change one of those materials up and it does sort of change the way that you know, you're going to have to go about the job, because not every material behaves the same way. But when it came to painting it, I put 4 coats of clear coat on the roof, bonnet and boot. That was so that I could block it back with 1200 grit and have a little bit more material there. So like while I say I didn't go for perfection on this, but considering I didn't go for perfection, it looks pretty damn perfect, if you know what I mean. Like it's I had fun doing the whole procedure, and believe it or not, I actually had fun cutting the orange peel out and sanding it back dead flat. I did actually enjoy that. That was a big job. So I've done some other videos on that, so you should go and check them out. I've actually made a full big playlist doing the whole procedure. But there you go, guys. How good does that look in this final shot here? Just amazing gloss, and reflections are insane. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I've been rambling and ranting. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Coming out.